Hello everyone, and today we're back into another top 5 video, and we're going to be talking about the top 5 Fish Loomians in all of Loomian Legacy. So the only Loomians that will be allowed on this list are any Loomians which are considered fish. So Loomians like Barblast, Arpaigo, and Garlash count, but Loomians like Samarine and Luminami won't. So with that out of the way, let's head right onto this list. Number 5 onto this list is going to be Arpaigo. Now, Arpaigo barely makes the top 5 on the list, and it's for one reason. It's very good coverage and magnify. People talk about how good Baneki is with its 102 speed, but Arpaigo actually has more speed, more ranged attack, and questionably even better coverage. Not to mention that it has Dark Electric, which is amazing for coverage moves. And it has a very good ability. Its secret ability is very good, so you can soak a status, swap out, and then the status disappears. It's the same ability as what Makoro has, which is awesome. And when you get a Magnify off, Arpaigo could be a really, really good late game sweeper. I mean, in this battle right here, Arpaigo completely carries, beating this Akalos and beating the Diborg, which is absolutely huge. Arpaigo definitely is one of the better Fish Loomians when it comes to other Fish Loomians in Loomian Legacy, but it's only number 5 because it can't really be run defensively. Yes, it does have Rejuvenate, but it does kind of struggle to click Rejuvenate because it doesn't have the best bulk. Its bulk's okay, but it doesn't have the best bulk. And for late game cleaner, while it is one of the better ones, there are still some other Loomians that can hit a little bit harder. And that's why Arpaigo is number 5. But it's still a very good Fish Loomian. It definitely deserves to be on the list. Number 4 onto this list is going to be Skellic. Yes, Skellic makes it above Arpaigo. And while the speed stat for Skellic is slower, the coverage is just as good, and it has setup. It has Drudge. And if you get a +1 speed, you outspeed everything in the game, which that's what gives Skellic a massive advantage. While Arpaigo has 105 speed and can outspeed more Loomians right away, Skellic can get that +1 speed after 1 Drudge, and it can be an absolute nuke. I don't think it quite hits as hard as Arpaigo. I think +2 Arpaigo hits harder than +1 Skellic. But that extra speed creep is a massive advantage. And I think Skellic's coverage is also better. You can hit Ancient types. You can hit Fire types. You have Mega Chomp and Phantom Slash. You have Chili Chomp. You can even run a support Skellic and run Baffle if you really want to. There's a lot of different ways you can actually run Skellic. And well, Drudge is only +1 melee attack. It's still good enough to absolutely destroy the opposing Loomians. In this battle, it actually gets a really good late game clean. And that's why Skellic is number 4 on the list, and that's why Skellic is slightly higher than Arpaigo. It's still a very good Loomian, but it just barely misses the top 3 on this list. Number 3 of this list is going to be Fishkarn. Of course, Fishkarn is going to be on this list somewhere, and it definitely deserves to be in the top 3. It's one of the better range tanks in Loomian Legacy, and it's probably the best regift user in Loomian Legacy. It's questionable if it's better than Cosmere, but Cosmere is so hard to get, and Fishkarn is way easier to get it on. It also has Mudslide, so it can actually get rid of Barbs itself, and it even has the Gummy ability, which makes it totally wall Barblast, which is kind of funny. This is just the direct counter for Barblast if you really need one. But I don't know why you'd run Gummy when you have Regift. Regift is so good because you can predict the lead, swap into this, and then the hazards go on the other side. You can even run a Raidful plushie set, get a +2 after getting hit by a super effective move, and be a nice little late game cleaner as well. And for a tank, this has relatively good attack and relatively good speed. I mean, 79 speed for a tank is really fast. And it has a decent attack stat as well. Its melee defense isn't the best, but it's good enough. And its range defense is really high. That makes Fishkarn one of the best tanks in Loomian Legacy. Maybe not the best, but it's one of the best regift users in all of Loomian Legacy. And that's why it deserves to be in the top 3 on this list. Number 2 on this list is going to be Garlash. Of course, Garlash is going to be on this list as well. This thing hits super duper hard. With Power Jaw, this thing hits like a truck. And this thing has fantastic coverage and a good speed stat. So when you combine that with Specialty Boots, Garlash hits supremely hard. There are unfortunately melee tanks that can beat it, like Obsidian, Tundraland, and even stuff like Lumello can beat it. But even then, Garlash is very good, especially if once you get rid of those melee tanks. This thing can destroy normal Loomians very easily. And now it has Venom Chomp, so it can actually hit water type super effectively now, which was kind of the biggest thing Garlash was missing in the past. A move that can hit water type super effectively. And now that it has Venom Chomp, it can now actually do that, which is amazing for Garlash. It also has a ton of other moves as well. You can run the Terrifying ability to lower the opposing Loomian's melee attack. You can run Devious to go through clutch plushies and clutch abilities. There's a lot of different ways you can run Garlash. You can even run Clay Slap if you really want to. So yeah, Garlash is a very, very good Loomian, and it definitely deserves to be number 2 on the list, but it barely misses number 1. Honorable mentions on this list, and honorable mention number 1 is going to be Samarine. Yes, I did say that Samarine was not going to be on the list, but if it was on the list, it would easily be number 2. This thing might be one of the best late-game sweepers in the entire game, and after a sharpen rev-up, this thing can sweep pretty much any team with no problems, and that's what makes Samarine really good. The reason why it's not on the list is because it is a metal shark, and it kind of just felt wrong to add on the list. The second honorable mention is Stalfino, and yes, this thing, of course, needs to be talked about. Stalfino is a nightmare to beat. This thing is an utter nightmare to beat if you're not prepared for it. You can technically provoke it, and you can also use multi-hitting moves and priority to beat it, but even then, this thing is very annoying, and it at the very least, deserves an honorable mention on this list. The best Fish Loomian in all of Loomian Legacy is Barblast. Of course Barblast was number 1, and I know what you're thinking. Barblast is a bomb. It's not a fish. It has a tail and a face. Alright? It's a fish. I don't care what anyone else says. Barblast is a fish. It has a tail, and it has a face. And it evolved from a pufferfish. So it's a fish. Alright? It's a fish. But Barblast definitely deserves number 1 on this list. I mean, it has the best defensive typing in all of Loomian Legacy, can poison the opposing Loomians, can play Psychical Traps, can throw poisons, can rejuvenate, can set up Power Focus, can run Raidful Plushie. There's a lot of different ways you can run Barblast, and this is probably one of the best overall tanks in Loomian Legacy. It could soak hits on both sides. And this is by far the best fish in Loomian Legacy. I mean, number 2's not even close. Garlash, you're very good. You hit very hard. But it doesn't even lay a finger to Barblast. Barblast completely blows out the competition when it comes to the best Fish Loomian in all of Loomian Legacy. And it deserves it too. The only flaw Barblast has is its relatively low speed stat, but it really doesn't matter when you're just soaking every hit, poisoning the opposing Loomians, and just completely destroying all fire types in its path. Yes, there is no contest. Barblast is easily the number 1 Fish Loomian in the entire game. And here it is, the best fish in all of Loomian Legacy. I hope you guys enjoyed this list. If there's some other Fish Loomians that I forgot to talk about, tell me in the comments below. What are your top 5 Fish Loomians in all of Loomian Legacy? Tell me in the comments below, because it'd be very interesting to see y'all opinions. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all all later. Bye-bye!